Hello everyone, my name is Dushan Ponsa and I'm a student of African Studies at Yale University. I'm here conducting my thesis research, which focuses on land rights and conservation conflicts in Africa, where I'm comparing the situations between Ghana and Kenya. My primary research sites are the Kalapa Resource Reserve in Ghana and the Embubut Forest in Kenya. Over the summer, I've engaged with local communities and other stakeholders, including the Ewes of Ghana, the Sengo and Maraket tribes in Kenya, as well as government officials in the Forestry, Environmental Department, Wildlife Division, and Land Commission. I also engage NGOs involved in conservation efforts. As I conclude my fieldwork, I would like to extend my gratitude to the Lindsay Fellowship for providing me with the financial support necessary to undertake this research. Actually, this work forms the foundation of my career in environmental justice, which I think is crucial in achieving climate sustainability in Africa and globally. I would like to mention that the current challenge in the conservation lies in balancing human rights with the protection of non-human lives. I think that it is important to recognize and acknowledge that lands gazetted for conservation were lands that were once inhabited by indigenous communities who must be prioritized and compensated. Well, thanks to the Lindsay Fellowship for their support, I have gathered a rich pool of data which would inform novel policy decisions to ensure sustainable environmental conservation. Stay tuned for my final work.
So I'd like to begin by first thanking the committee for funding the opportunity to go to Dakar, Senegal. It was just such an immersive experience of just learning a new culture, learning new languages, and also adapting to something new in the field. Initially, when I went to Senegal, I was born with the idea that I would be tracing legacies of Senghor's negritude movement via art, in which I would be interviewing artists and seeing how they were inspired by the first president of Senegal, but really got there and they didn't care about that at all. They cared about current socio-political issues that were happening, that were tied to the independence of Senegal from France. The issue that really hit home for me was the issue of immigration. As a first-generation American, I come from two parents who are from Jamaica and who also came to the Americas through undocumented means. So to hear about the stories and to watch films and to engage with art that talked about the high-risk migration practices of people who are trying to escape Senegal to get a better life and have the opportunity to live life really hit home, and I really enjoyed talking to folks about that. Our most treasured experience that I had at Senegal was participating in Tabaski, which is their second largest Islamic holiday, and I got to partake in some of the traditions. I went to mosque in the morning for morning prayer, and then after that I spent the evening eating dinner with family, and then I dressed up and spent the night on the town. So it was I really just loved the Turingo and hospitality that Senegal has provided me, and I would not have had the opportunity to find out all of these wonderful things about Senegal and their culture, their people, and these issues, and how I can tend to these issues, right? If it were not for the Lindsay Fellowship Committee. So again, thank you. Thank you for offering me this opportunity to learn as a researcher, but also personally as a person, and finding these transatlantic ties that bridges one migrant to the other in hopes to find freedom.
My name is Ivana Uzo. I'm a second-year MA student here at Yale in African Studies, and I would like to start out by thanking the Lindsay Fellowship for supporting my research in Africa this summer. I spent my summer in Nigeria oscillating between Lagos, Ibadan, and Enugu, and I was studying or researching the Nigeria-Biafra War, particularly in relation to the literature that has emerged since the end of the war in 1970. I actually went into my research thinking that I wanted to study the memory of the war, and later found after interviewing several people that we can't really position Nigeria-Biafra War as a memory, especially when a lot of people feel like it continues to be an ongoing issue. I kind of repositioned my research from revisitation, retelling, and rememory to something that kind of takes into account the sort of haunting that I think is going on. And so I've kind of retitled it. I would say my favorite part of my trip was going to bookstores, particularly in Lagos. There was a lot of shops within the markets, kind of informal book locations, and then also very formal ones. And just being able to see like just endless rows of African literature, Nigerian literature was really exciting for me. I actually found some of the literature that has significantly influenced my thesis in this kind of exploration. Yeah, so I would just like to say thank you again to the Lindsay Fellowship for Research in Africa for supporting my work this summer, and I can just imagine how this is going to skyrocket my future in academia.
Hi, I'm Maggie Weber. I'm a PhD student in Ecology and Evolutionary Biology at Yale, and thanks to the Lindsay Fellowship for Research in Africa, I have spent the past 2 months here in Kruger National Park, South Africa, and with the rest of my lab group, we've caught 250 wild African buffalo, collected lots of different samples like blood, hair, tissues, feces, in order to test those buffalo for infection with different parasites, in particular gastrointestinal worms and bovine tuberculosis, and to better understand how those parasites interact and affect the buffalo and potentially affect one another. For my project specifically, which is titled How Does Co-Infection Affect the Quantity and Quality of Infectious Propagules, I'm trying to understand how different parasites infecting the buffalo can then affect the parasitic worms that they're releasing into the environment that will then go on to infect other buffalo and potentially other animals. And so far, I've been able to culture lots of live worms from the feces of these buffalo and look at interesting traits of those worms like their size and their motility, or the amount that they move around, that are then related to their ability to go on to infect new hosts. So the next step is to sort of look through, analyze all this data, and better understand what factors are predicting variation in those worm traits. But I'm very excited about how the project's gone so far. And thank you again to the Yale Council on African Studies and the Lindsay Fellowship for Research in Africa for making this all possible. I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Hi, my name is Samantha Gillis. I am a Master's of Public Health student in the Epidemiology of Microbial Diseases department, working with Dr. Michael Capello's lab at the Yale School of Public Health. I am currently in Boposo, a town in the Bono East region of Ghana. My research is titled The Role of Household Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene Practices on the Prevalence of Hookworm in Communities in Ghana. I work together with other members of the Capello Lab at Yale, as well as researchers from the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research at the University of Ghana. Since arriving in Boposo nearly 2 months ago, we have screened almost 550 individuals from the local community for hookworm infection and have interviewed participating households for the available wash infrastructure, including water access and presence of toilets and hand washing facilities. Although my time in the field is wrapping up for the year, I, as well as my colleagues from both Yale and Noguchi, will continue our work to address hookworm infection in Boposo and in Ghana at large over the next several years. I would like to thank the Yale Council on African Studies, as well as the Lindsay Fellowship for Research in Africa, for supporting and sponsoring my research. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brandon Lewis. I'm a fourth-year PhD student in the Yale School of the Environment. The title of my research is Indoor Air Pollution in the Accra Metropolis. I'm doing my research here in Accra, Ghana, and I am being supported by the Lindsay Fellowship to conduct important research looking at indoor air pollution, mainly from cooking and also traffic emissions here in Ghana. So I'm filming this video on the really nice and amazing campus of the University of Ghana. And Lindsay has been instrumental in supporting my research, looking at air pollution and health. And also, I'm able to work with my amazing research team here at the University of Ghana, which I hope in the future I'll be able to continue my collaborations. So I would like to, I'm really enjoying my trip. Some highlights is going to the Elmina Castle, which is an important slave port in Ghana. And I really thank the Lindsay Fellowship for supporting my research.
Hello, my name is Charlotte Bednarski, and I'm a second-year PhD student at Yale's Department of Anthropology. This summer, I conducted pre-dissertation fieldwork in Bamako, Mali, and the title of my research is Democracy in Transition, Civil Society, and the Malian Transition. I would like to thank the Yale Council on African Studies and the Lindsay Fellowship for Research on Africa for supporting this research and making it possible for me to do this research in Bamako this summer. My research focuses on political actors, social activists, and other political figures during the transition that has been going on in Mali since the coup d'etat in 2020. Something interesting about my research is that I attended many grands throughout the city, which are meetings usually at night where people sit in a circle, drink mint tea, share peanuts, and discuss the day's events, which range from problems from electricity to prices at the market to social media and of course to the future of Mali's government. So thank you again for your support to the Lindsay Fellowship for Research on Africa and the Yale Council on African Studies. I really appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Cassandra Michelle. I'm a second-year Master's of Public Health student at the Yale School of Public Health. I'm currently located in Kigali, Rwanda this summer, conducting research titled Understanding the Psychosocial Needs of Rwandan Caregivers, a qualitative research proposal. Research has been going very well this summer. With my team, I've been able to conduct focus group discussions with both Rwandan caregivers as well as staff members who support Rwandan caregivers at former residential care facilities. Throughout these focus group discussions, we've been able to learn more about Rwandan caregivers' needs, their preferences for interventions, as well as barriers and facilitators for implementing an intervention in Rwanda for caregivers. Rwanda, also known as the land of many hills, has been a wonderful place to be this summer. From the people to the culture to the food and of course the motorbikes, I've really enjoyed being a student and a scholar here, but of course just immersing myself in the culture. I want to take the time to thank the Yale Council on African Studies as well as the Lindsay Fellowship for Research in Africa for both supporting and sponsoring this research. The experience and knowledge that I've been able to garner would not be possible without your support and sponsorship, so thank you.